Namaskar and welcome to this series of Compliance Week podcast. Today we have with us Sri Sanjay Narayan, Chief General Manager and Zonal Head of Delhi. Thank you for joining us today, sir. Sir, you have had this very rich journey across retail lending, MSME, fintech, partnerships, and now you are heading as CGM, this Delhi zone, which is so important for our entire organization. And here in this week, we are trying to establish how compliance, customer experience, and digitization go hand in hand. So, welcome with us.
Thank you, Shubhi, for calling me on this podcast for Compliance Week. It's a privilege for me. Compliance is a word when it comes to my mind or anybody's mind. It is like a rule book, a policy, a regulation. But for me, I think it should be keeping promise to the customer, keeping your promise to the regulators, and keeping your promise to yourself as a banker. And that is how I think sustainable banking is built upon.
Right, sir. Worked across various regions, verticals, various zones. What leadership lessons have actually stayed with you across this entire transitions?
Leadership is to take care of all those who are in your charge. So
Right.
that's an important thing. And this has stayed in me since long. I have tried to give the ownership, the decision making to the team so that they develop their ownership, they are empowered for their decisions which they take. And when I remember when I was taking charge of a regional office, Ghazipur, one of my executive director told me during the interaction that Sanjay, when your team succeeds with your effort, it's management.
Right.
When your team succeeds without you,
Hmm.
that is the leadership. And that is how I have tried and dwelled upon to provide ownership to my team. And that is one lesson that is very close to my heart.
So, you have aced invisible leadership in that sense, sir. Sir, your work spans both growth and risk control. How do you personally strike that balance in decision making in day to day life?
That is a biggest banker's dilemma, isn't it?
True.
Growth versus prudence.
Right.
That's the biggest dilemma that bankers have. And I follow what I call is a traffic light principle. Green light doesn't mean you drive recklessly. Green light means to drive with caution. Green light means to drive within your mind with the destination. And if you draw parallel with this green light principle with the banking, you'll understand. Compliance only means to achieve your target with perfection.
You are absolutely right in saying that, sir. So, my next question would be: is there any phase in your career that fundamentally changed the way you see customer trust and discipline?
Shubhi, I'll take you back to my initial days of banking when I joined this bank as an rural development officer. And I was posted at a branch, rural branch, Rampur. I remember it very precisely. During those days, one of my customer came to me. He was an old farmer. He came to me for a crop loan, which we now call more prominently as KCC. He was not having much of his documents with him. So I sat with him for a while. Few days we spent together to make him understand why this is necessary, why KYC is necessary, why his land record documents are necessary, how to frame that to achieve at a particular level of crop loan. And he understood it. We financed him a 50,000 loan of crop loan, and then he went back. And when I was getting relieved of that branch and was going to join Allahabad as a credit officer, that time he came and to bid adieu to me, and he said, "Sanjay Babu, आपने मुझे पैसे ही नहीं दिए, आपने मुझे banking सिखाई." So this is the level of trust when you maintain compliance with the customer.
Sir, retail banking touches customer at their most personal financial moments. How does compliance directly influence customer experience in retail lending?
So beautiful question, Shubhi. Imagine a customer coming to your branch asking for a home loan. He's not come here to borrow money from you. He has come here to build a dream for himself, to build a platform for his family. And when you fail in taking proper compliance checks, asking proper documents, non communication, what are you doing? You are not only making it non compliant, but you are shattering his dream. So that becomes very important. That is something that I always keep very near. Compliance is invisible for the customers, but invaluable for his experiences.
True.
These are very important things. And a best kind of compliance with a customer is when the customer does not come back to you for complaints.
Right. And sir, from your experience in retail assets, what are the most common process lapses that eventually hurt customer trust?
For me, basically, I have seen that in retail advances, there are majorly three kind of compliance lapses which I have seen in my life. One is incomplete KYC. You do not take proper document from the customer, and you tend to offer him the loans. So that creates friction going forward. The other kind of compliance is poor communication. You don't tell the customer what are the EMIs, what are the due date, when he is supposed to repay it, and ultimately account goes into stress, his CIBILs gets into trouble, and there's a friction again with the customer and the banker. And the third kind of compliance in retail, what I feel is there are times when you give deviation to the loans and you are not justifying those things. Then what happens whenever the auditor is there, auditor is seeing that files, they will create and they will point out certain deficiencies which you will again go back to the customer, and these things frustrate customers. So these are major flaws that I have seen in the branches, which for me I feel is non-compliant in nature.
Right. And what behavior differentiate branches that deliver both great customer experience and strong compliance at the same time?
So if you'll ask me personally, it's all about culture. The culture makes the difference. Nothing else. When you go to a branch and you see that a branch manager is not an administrator there, he's a coach to the team. The compliance will be very high in that particular branch. When deficiencies are discussed, these do not make a point of contention between each other. Problems which has cropped up are discussed and solved. That makes the branch a better cultured, better compliant branch. And if you remember Peter Drucker's quote, culture eats strategy in the breakfast. No matter whatever you create in the boardroom, if the culture is not correct, compliance won't happen.
So, moving on, sir, you have led several industry benchmark digital journeys. How can digitization actually reduce compliance burden rather than increase it?
Shubhi, there is a myth which says that digitization creates new risk. Yes, to some extent it does. But remember, it removes the old risks, old compliance risk. It definitely reduces it. Think about it. Just imagine manual errors are completely gone. Missing signatures, ineligible handwritings, all gone with digitization. Audit trails are very, very automatic. It creates all kind of audit trails within itself. policy compliance becomes very, very systematic.
Hmm.
You won't miss anything. So digitization is like a co-pilot. It doesn't replaces the pilot, but it makes sure that you don't miss any critical checks.
Right. So, sir, what are the different risks that you believe that employees should be alert of in digital lending journeys?
Basically, there are three, four major risks which crops up. One is there is a chances of data privacy breach,
Mhm.
and the penalties are heavy.
Hmm.
With the DPDP Act coming into
Yeah.
place, the penalties are heavy. So that is one major risk which comes into place. The other is over reliance on automation. Automation helps you, but remember, it will not remove the human judgment.
Hmm.
The human judgment has to be there. So the over reliance factor has to be kept in mind. The most important thing, which is very much talked nowadays, is digital frauds. Everybody knows about it.
Right.
The digitization brings it with together. And another part, which I think, which is least talked, is incomplete disclosures. There are chances that while feeding digitally, you are not disclosing a lot of things, and ultimately that turns out to be one of the risk factors.
Right, sir. In your experience, is there an example wherein a digital process both improve the turnaround time and control together?
Yeah, when I was in digitization, we created a personal loan digital journey.
Okay.
The personal loan digital journey initially was taking a personal loan when you used to give it in branch in the manual form. It normally took 3 to 7 days, depending upon the efficiency of the branch, workload of the branch. But with digitization of personal loan, the delivery time was reduced to few hours.
Very quick, right?
It was
Yeah.
less than few hours. So that is a perfect example of how digitization is so powerful. And another part which we also back tested going forward, the NPA percentage reduced substantially. It reduced substantially in a manual personal loan and in digital personal. So technology didn't replace diligence; it actually enhances it.
So, sir, you have been heading Delhi Zone for past year and a half and more. As a zonal head, what are the compliance-related challenges which are most visible at the branches today?
So Delhi zone is a very diverse, and majorly comprising of urban and metro branches. So major challenges that mirrors the diversity of Delhi zone is volume versus quality. I mean,
Mhm.
we have a lot of competition here.
Mm.
So to cope up those competition, we have to drive volumes, and when we drive volumes, there are always chances of missing out on quality. So that is one challenge that I feel, and another is to some extent I feel staff capability is also a challenge for me at times, because every staff of your zone cannot be capable of everything. We have to understand that there has to be capability gaps, but we are doing it through training processes, and we are remaining quite optimistic about training our staffs. There are third party dependencies also. This being a metro and urban zone, there is a huge dependency on third party vendors like my valuers, my legal persons, my DSAs,
Hmm.
and in these circumstances, monitoring becomes very important for them. And customer awareness of Delhi zone is
Very high.
very high. It's very high. So you have to cope up with those awareness of those customers. You have to be always on your toes, updated. So these are innate challenges that we see at Telezone. I remain very optimistic. We are driving business at Telezone, and we are doing quite well.
Oh, yes, sir. And when you visit branches, what are those signs which tells you that the branch and its staff are disciplined and customer centric, keeping compliance in mind?
So, whenever I visit branch, there are only two things that I look at. Number one, how my frontline staff is interacting with the customers.
Mm.
That is the key area which I basically focus. Whether they are interacting with a smile, whether they are listening to the customers or not. So that gives me a feeling of how disciplined and customer centric the branch is. And the other part which I look at is branch manager's desk, how clean and what is the uh, data which he is monitoring on daily basis. That gives me a fair idea of a branch being customer centric and disciplined and driving business with all enthusiasm.
And from there, in this fast changing business banking environment, what mindset shift do you actually expect from your staff, from your employees, so that they inculcate compliance in everyday work?
It's a one liner. Compliance means for me, the staff's mindset should change from I have to I want to. That is the one change in the mindset of staff will bring all the difference in compliance. The staff should not feel that it is to be done. The feeling should of staff should be I want to do this compliance because it's just like keeping promise, which we
Right.
initially started.
Yeah.
Keeping promise to ourselves as a bank.
It should be organic. It should be fluid.
Very correct.
Right. So, sir, I think we have come to that point wherein we have to get into the rapid fire. So, I'll have few questions and I would want you to give me very precise answers for those. So, the first one is one compliance habit every branch must follow without fail.
Daily file review. Any activity which the branch staff or the branch manager is doing has to be reviewed on very regular interval.
One digital mistake staff must avoid immediately.
In digital world, sharing credential is disastrous.
It is. It is. One customer expectation banks often underestimate.
Transparency. Customer needs transparent behavior from the staff, and we must honor that.
Compliance and customer experience. One connecting word.
Trust.
Absolutely. And one message to Union Bank staff during compliance week.
Compliance is not a department. It should be the DNA of the employees. We should wear it with pride, we should practice it with discipline, and we should lead it with integrity. Customer has trust on us. Let's honor that trust on every single day.
Thank you for joining us today, sir. It was wonderful having you here and your perspective and insights on how to keep our compliance strong will go a long way in leading us. Sir's perspective to understand how innovation and customer centricity has to go together is a leading light for all of us. Thank you for joining us today. Let's keep our journey strong in making this compliance everyday part of our lives.